In this video, I'm going to give you a good strategy of cycling between different kinds of nootropics that work on different systems to keep yourself responding positively to particular nootropic compounds and for all around good measure. Coming up. Okay, a minute of product promotion. Let's see if I can get this under a minute. Ready? The Cortex stack, that's our stack that combines uridine, CDP, and artichoke extract. Bottom line is we tried to make a pre-made stack that was discernible and that was comparable to modafinil. That was the mission that resonates with our customers. That's what folks say. It's a very powerful experience. Motivation, mental energy, speed of processing. Get that at livecortex.com. That is the Cortex stack. Read the reviews. Okay. Secondly, we wrote 2 guides, digital guides you can download that give you instructions on nootropics. One of them is a racetam guide. It breaks down 80 plus stacks. Every major racetam, what that racetam is, what the explanation is, what the dose range is, what the specific dose range is, and how you should use it. Sublingual stacks, then oral stacks. That is called the Racetam God Guide. Then we wrote an all-around, all-encompassing nootropics instructional protocol plus stack list guide. These are digital. You can download them for any device you want. That's called Smarter, Better, Faster. It is awesome. A lot of stacks in there, a lot of instructions. Get it at livecortex.com. And then lastly, we consult on nootropics and brain performance. 40 minutes with me, 15 additional email correspondences. Get all of that at livecortex.com. Did I do it in under a minute? I might have. I'll look after it when I'm editing the video, but I tried. Okay, so let's talk about the notion of switching between compounds, nootropic compounds that work on different systems. More and more as people get more and more into nootropics. This entire industry has blown up completely over the course of the last 5 years. But at the same time, it's been around for quite some time. So you got people like me, and you got people like Dave Asprey, and you got people like Tim Ferriss, and you got people like what's that guy's name? Ben Greenfield, and a lot of other people that have been taking nootropics for like 10 years or 8 years or a long time, right? And, in both of those cases, I think folks eventually come to understand that the best way to take nootropics is to take them, I don't want to say conservatively, but to take them in very cyclical manners. So you take a compound for a month and you cycle off for a complete month of that compound. Or you take a compound for 2 weeks, cycle off that compound for a week, right? Or you cycle between different kinds of nootropic compounds that work on systems. So let's talk about that. So the general overview is, people do come to understand that over time. And the reason is they want to prevent downregulation of neurotransmitter receptors. They want to prevent tolerance. They want to prevent side effects. Because make no mistake, nootropics like coffee or Tylenol or Tylenol is probably a bad example, but alcohol have side effects. You take too much of a cholinergic, you're going to have brain fog, or you're not going to be able to function right. You take too much of a dopaminergic, you might feel a little strange. Take too much of a particularly stimulatory nootropic compound, and you're going to be overstimulated. Everybody knows that this is the case. The strategy is trying to avoid side effects from taking nootropics. And one of the ways you do that is you cycle between different kinds of nootropics that work on different systems. So a primary example to take away for you guys to think about this would be the notion of cycling between cholinergics and dopaminergics. Okay, so cholinergics are like alpha G. Cholinergics are basically explain a class of nootropics that work on acetylcholine, which is a lot of them. Frankly, it's a lot of them. It's Noopept. These nootropics I'm about to list don't exclusively work on the cholinergic system, that is increasing acetylcholine, modulating receptor sites, modulating acetylcholine, modulating choline uptake in neurons or something. But they do as a primary, mode of action. You got alpha-GPC, CDP-choline, centrophenoxine, DMAE. You have CDP-choline, choline bitartrate. You have Noopept, haniracetam, oxiracetam, nefaracetam, fasiracetam, phenylpiracetam. Did we say oxiracetam, piracetam? Coliracetam, all the major racetam nootropics. And then look, the acetylcholine esterase inhibitors, huperzine A, and then you get very super mild ones like ashwagandha to some extent. I think Bacopa monnieri is a very mild acetylcholine esterase inhibitor. So is rhodiola rosea, by the way. It's just okay. So that's the cholinergics, but then you have the class of dopaminergics. You've got L-tyrosine, L-dopa, you've got mucuna, you've got phenylalanine, then modafinil. Modafinil is essentially a dopaminergic. It works on serotonin and it works on inhibiting GABA and regions of the brain, and it modifies epinephrine, norepinephrine, but I mean it increases extracellular dopamine. I mean that's one of the by blocking, I think, dopamine transporters. I mean that's one of the standout things. It's one of the noted mechanisms of modafinil. So it's largely dopaminergic. And so the idea of cycling between cholinergics and dopaminergics is significant in that, a good reason is that you want to stop the downregulation of a neurotransmitter receptor, number one. So you basically want to stop a tolerance to that nootropic. Folks might take a compound for a month and be like, yeah, it kind of lost its oomph. We should cycle off it for a while. Give your brain a rest on that particular nootropic. Shift on to dopaminergics. I've been doing this more lately, and it's the way to go. And just the same, like if folks have been taking particularly dopaminergic kind of nootropics for a while, they might want to shift to cholinergic stuff. Like if you've been taking tyrosine for a long time and it's worked really good for you in the beginning with the first 2-3 months, but now you're noticing it's starting to make you a little irritable or anxious or angry or something, because tyrosine can do that because it's working on epinephrine and norepinephrine. If it's cranking up those neurotransmitters, I think there's some degree of sort of competitiveness between the uptake of tyrosine, and 5-HTP, which is like the opposite. 5-HTP will go on and build, essentially a calming, mood calming, nervous system calming neurotransmitter called serotonin. And so, if you're blasting with supplemental tyrosine, you might not be making enough 5-HTP. I mean, there's some research to suggest that this is the case. Some doctors that I've talked to that suggest this is the case too. Really, they proclaim that's what's happening. And so, you might want to cycle off of the tyrosine and move toward a cholinergic. So you've been taking tyrosine for a while. Now maybe shoot for something like uridine, a choline source, and a B vitamin, or maybe shoot for something like Alcar. Maybe just shoot for something like Nupeptide, a choline source, and some vinpocetine, or shoot for a racetam or something. And just the same, if you've been taking racetams, if you've been taking cholinergic for a long time, and you're starting to feel like something isn't right, like something's off, or maybe that you're just developing a tolerance to that particular nootropic, shift over to the tyrosines of the world, the phenylalanines of the world. Shift over to the L-dopas of the world, shift over to the modafinils of the world, start working on that dopaminergic system to get that in place and get that optimized. And then maybe cycle off of everything for a week or two. You see, I mean, this is really the best strategy. So a good inline example, would be like, even when I was formulating the Cortex stack, like, I was on basically cholinergics, every day. We were taking, uridine and CDP choline and artichoke extract and Bacopa monnieri to really refine, what I had already come to understand as like a great stack, so that it was applicable to a lot of people. We were in the process of doing the beta testing, and then 3 months or so, I was like taking the stack every day. And then after a while, I was just like, my cholinergic signaling is super optimized, and like I need a break from it. So, even during that process, I let the beta testers, continue to test the Cortex product. I already know how it affected me, and it was like profound. And so the beta testers, gave me the rest of that data, and then I would just take modafinil at that time, or I would just take tyrosine at the time. I would take some phenylalanine at the time, or something else that works on dopamine, and it would be great because at the time my brain needed that. Okay, so that's a good inline example, and the reverse applies too. And that's one of those distinctions that I made later on in my years in taking nootropics. And this is one of the reasons why people talk about a nootropic losing their oomph. They're thinking about it the wrong way. You really shouldn't think about it like, oh, I found aniracetam and it's great, now I'm going to take it for the rest of my life. It's not how it works. It's just not how nootropics work, and that's people get lured into thinking that's how it is. It just isn't, guys. It's not. You can, I've been taking aniracetam for 8.5 years, but I don't take it every day, not even close. I might take it 3 to 7 times a month, because then I'll switch to oxiracetam, then I'll switch to piracetam, and then I'll realize I need to shift off of cholinergics and move to dopamine. I'll shift to theacrine and espresso shots. Then I'll shift to modafinil. Then I'll shift to tyrosine and iodine and selenium as a combination, and then I'll cycle off of everything for a week or 2 weeks, or even 3 weeks. I mean, it was like 4 or 5 months ago, but yeah, I cycle off everything for 3-4 weeks, just for good measure. I mean, this is how you can really surgically use nootropics. For more distinctions like this, we break down that particularly in the Smarter, Better, Faster book. If it's on racetams, get the Racetam God Guide. If you want a consult from me, get it at livecortex.com. 40 minutes of my time on a video chat or an audio chat. We're doing them like every day, so folks love it. We're doing video chats and talking, acting crazy and talking about nootropics and getting stacks refined. We can help you refine your stack to make it perfect. Get all that at livecortex.com. And remember, you should really cycle between different kinds of compounds: cholinergics, dopaminergics, compounds that fuss with serotonin, compounds that fuss with GABA. Switch, cycle, apply accordingly. Thanks for watching.